Hi all, welcome to ServiceNow training by Learn Now. Today we are going to discuss about the client scripts that are used in ServiceNow. So what is a client script? A client script is a JavaScript that runs in the user's browser on the client side basically. It is used to control form behavior, validate user input, hide or show fields, improve the user experience without waiting for the server's response. Client scripts are executed in the following scenarios. So we have like four type of scenarios. First, when the form loads for the user, when the field values changes, when the form submitted by the user, and when the form is initialized for a new record or from the list view. So these are the basic scenarios where the client script runs. So what are different types of client script? So generally there are four types: onload, onChange, onSubmit, and onSellEdit. So onload client scripts. What is the trigger condition for that? When the form loads. So when the form loads, this client script will be executed. What is the purpose? Hide fields like on loading. We will check the conditions, and based on that condition, we can hide the field. Set default values, make field mandatory. So these are the things that we can do in onload. Moving to the on change, when a field values changes, let's suppose now you are on the form and you change some value on any of the field. Validate data, like if it is a correct data, or based on that value that you have chose, show or hide fields. So these are the things that we can do on change. On submit, before form submission, like a user has populated all the details and want to save the form, submit the form. On that submission, this client script runs. Stop submission, like based on the condition whether the details are like correct or not. Show warning, check mandatory conditions, mandatory fields, whether they are populated or not. Okay, uh, this is on submit. And moving to the on cell edit, this works on the list view. Whenever you want to change any column value from the list view, this on cell edit script run validate the inline list editing. If there is any condition, whether the conditions are met or not, based on that the value will be edited. So these are the four types of client scripts in ServiceNow. We will see each of them in with the use cases elaboration, like how where we can use them, and then we will go for practical in the next video. OnLoad client script, used to pre-populate field when the form loads. Like as I mentioned, when the form loads and based on the user or any field values, we can pre-populate the fields on the form. We can hide and show based on user role, based on values. We can hide sections, related list using this. Auto-populate values using glide ajax. Uh, we can auto-populate the values that we need from server side. We can use glide ajax. Mandatory field based on existing values. We can mandate the fields based on existing values. Uh, show information message on the form load. So if there is any info message that you want to show or error message, that we can show using onload client script. These are the basic use cases for which we use onload client scripts. OnChange client script. So some basic use cases for that is auto populate field when another field value changes. So when the form loads, after the loading of a form, if the user changes any values on the fields, let's suppose on incident form the user wants to change the category. So we can, based on category, we can make some field mandatory, make some selection in subcategories, like filter the subcategories. So this is basically where onChange is used. Dynamically show or hide fields. Uh, One example I can give you, like when the state is on hold, we can see on hold reason on the incident form. So basically we can use that onChange there. Real-time data validation. Uh, the values that you are populating is correct for this user is not correct or not, we can validate that in the real time. Show mandatory field based on selections, yeah, that we discussed already. Populate field and another, that is like I guess twice. Okay. Filter dependent choices, as I mentioned, like category is selected, so we need to show only related subcategories. That we can do on change client script. On submit client script, restrict update to specific user roles. Okay, so we can restrict the uh, updates based on the user, like some user has ITL role, some has admin, so based on that we can restrict to update the form. Block submission when mandatory fields are not populated or filled. So let's suppose there are some mandatory fields and you want to submit the form, we can show the error message or restrict the form submission until these mandatory fields are populated. Validate dates before saving. On the date time field, we can validate whether this field should contain future date or past dates. So these things we can do on submit. Prevent form submission if the required data is missing. So like if any field that we need the user to populate and it's not there, then we can just show an error message or stop the form submission. This is about these on submit client scripts. We will be seeing the practical use case in the next video. On cell edit client script. Validate field values edited in the list. Okay, so this works on the list view as I mentioned previously. So if you are changing any field value or column value of any record, it you can use it to validate if the value is correct or not. Based on that, the value is edited. Trigger server side logic after inline update. Let's suppose you want to update caller on any incident from the list view, and there is another field like email. So you can just trigger a AJAX call to get the email from the server side once the caller is edited. So this is what you can do here. Prevent unauthorized inline changes. Let's suppose you are editing the state of the incident to resolve. So basically you need to populate the resolution code, resolution notes and all those fields. So you can restrict the user that uh, you cannot resolve the incident from inline editing or from the list view. You need to open that, so you can show an error message or restrict the change. Prevent invalid status changes from list view. Let's suppose there is a string field, but you have some conditions like only these few values can be populated. Let's suppose active, inactive, or you can mention draft, expired, these values. Apart from these, if they are putting any values, you can just show an invalid message, like you cannot edit these values. So this is all about on cell edit client script. And basically this is all about the client scripts that are used in ServiceNow. In the next video, we are going to see the practical use cases of each of these client scripts. Maybe one or two scenarios we will be covering in the next upcoming videos. Thank you all. Thank you for joining. Please do subscribe and like my channel. Now, learn now.